So guys, the crypto markets are trading sideways. Right now we had the CPI data come out yesterday. Price action has been chopping sideways after the huge rip up that we have been seeing. And right now a lot of people are anticipating what's going to be happening next for altcoins. We're seeing Bitcoin dominance drop down, USDT dominance as well, points to the fact that liquidity is moving back into altcoins. And a lot of people are looking at specific charts, really point to the fact that altcoins are about to get the liquidity that they need to start ripping up. But today I want to give you guys a few different perspectives based off of the data that we're currently seeing, also with the CPI data, rate cuts anticipated, and exactly what is going to be causing altcoins to shoot up. Overall though, if you're new to my channel, check out the rest of my content. I keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action around Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and exactly what you need to do to position yourself. Guys, altcoins right now are chopping sideways, which is a great time to start dollar cost averaging and get a few more positions before we start ripping up quite significantly. We had the deal with China and the US with a pause again around tariffs, and then we had the also CPI data come out yesterday, which is causing a lot of influx. Right now it's looking good in terms of how inflation is looking, but everyone was anticipating a little bit of a dip. Right now though, you need to be aware of specific price action around Bitcoin, Ethereum, indicators, and exactly everything else in between. So with all that being said, guys, let's go to jump in straight into it. Sorry guys, got a little tongue tied right there, but overall the crypto markets are trading sideways right now. Bitcoin's currently sitting at around 103,466. Currently we were sitting at around the zone yesterday, like how I said, just chopping sideways, waiting for more concrete or specific news that's going to have an effect on price action. Ethereum as well, guys, just pretty much chopping sideways, waiting to see exactly what's going to be happening, if we're going to break out of the specific resistance zone or if we're going to be deviating back. We did see with Justin Bennett, based off of exactly where ETH was going in the February imbalance, it was chasing. So we're really going to see if we're going to hit the zone and break through, or if we're going to start deviating after we hit that specific zone. The total 3 chart is points at the fact that it's just following the liquidity with Ethereum, guys. The total 3 chart is giving the sum of all of the altcoins, cutting out those big assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and this just really shows how liquidity is moving. And right now it has been seeing a huge rip up. But a lot of people are just anticipating, if we're going to keep on ripping up or if we're going to be testing that zone and then deviating from there. Right now, Bitcoin dominance has been seeing a little bit of a recovery after crashing down significantly multiple times, currently sitting at around that 62% zone. This is where I try to give everyone a long-term perspective in terms of when we could be seeing Bitcoin dominance actually top out. And on the hourly chart, you can get so caught up in a macro lens, you tend to forget exactly where Bitcoin dominance was in previous runs. So this is where I try to give everyone a long-term perspective. But right now, Bitcoin dominance is crashing down on the hourly chart, just showing us exactly that liquidity is moving slowly more into altcoins, that the more we see positive price action around these risk assets. USDT dominance as well, guys, another stable coin where everyone puts their money whenever they're scared, whenever they don't know what's going on in the markets, just to make sure that their portfolios aren't fluctuating like crazy. But this is also pointing to the fact that everybody is feeling a little bit skeptical, seeing a little bit of recovery in USDT dominance, but overall we are still seeing this crash down, which is super bullish for altcoins. Right now, guys, the biggest thing that just happened was the CPI data that came out around inflation, and overall it's looked super bullish. We actually are seeing the fear and greed index shoot up. Everyone's getting greedy, and right now we're starting to close out, getting out of those April lows, which is really great to see for the markets. But right now everything is still kind of trading sideways, wondering what's going to be happening next. We talked about it yesterday with the Kobesi letter, how the US government cannot afford a recession right now based off of the GDP and a few other different things that we've seen in multiple other different cycles. Right now, overall though, we have been seeing that another day and another move in higher for yields and bonds, guys. This is not good, especially for President Trump. There's multiple different variations as to why a rise in yields isn't well, and you can go do a little bit more information and deep diving into that, but just giving you the sum of it, at the end of the day, Trump does not want to see this. He goes on to talk about how the last time yields were this high, President Trump paused tariffs for 90 days. Now trade deals have been reached and yields still won't fall. What will Trump do now? So right now everyone's wondering, are we going to be seeing rate cuts? Are we going to be seeing the Fed step in? A lot of people are anticipating this, and if we start to see that, that's going to be the news that we need to start ripping up. We are starting to see though that foreign investors are pouring money into US stocks again. So this is really great, guys, because it just pours into the fact that liquidity is slowly moving back into the markets, which is super bullish. We need that liquidity in order to move from stocks into big crypto assets into our altcoins. It's the way money flows, guys, and the more you understand about it, the more you get bullish when you get information like this. But foreign investors are pouring money into US stocks again. US equity funds have attracted 1.5 billion in net inflows over the last month, the most since February. This comes after a net outflow of 5 billion at the beginning of April, the most in at least 5 years. European investors have piled back into US equity funds as trade war uncertainty has eased over the last few weeks, with the pause with China and US and a few other countries as well. According to the Fed data, foreigners own 18.5 trillion in US equities, reflecting 20% of the total US equity market. Keep watching the flow data. And this is a really good chart, just pointing to the fact on how much assets are owned from foreign investors. This really shows how much liquidity got taken out of the markets, but how much liquidity is getting poured back into it. So this is some positive news. But if we jump into a few different perspectives from crypto analysts and traders, Crypto Mitchell now gives his perspective on exactly the bearish divergence we're seeing on Bitcoin dominance, and he says this implies that we're continuing the reversal based off of exactly the deviation that we're seeing. Is this a top for Bitcoin dominance? I'm actually very curious, guys, because in previous cycles you can see Bitcoin dominance ran up much more significantly, but we didn't see this sideways price action, so much long rip ups for Bitcoin dominance. This could be the huge rip down, but only time will tell if this is actually going to be the huge reversal that we need. But overall, Crypto Mission also gives his perspective around the CNH and USD chart, as well as the ETH and Bitcoin, and the correlation they have, and pretty much how you can see that as well. In the same week, we've seen that the bottom on the CNH and USD and the ETH and Bitcoin chart. As long as the business cycle and the macroeconomics table turn, altcoins will start to do well. So as long as we still get more positive, news around the macroeconomic events and everything keeps going in the right direction, there's no reason why altcoins can't start doing extremely well. We're already seeing everything set up quite significantly, and all these other charts that correlate with the price action are just stemming and really pouring more into the fact that altcoins are going to start ripping up. But, a lot of people have different perspectives. Justin Bennett showing that ETH is closing on that February imbalance, which is bullish. But at the end of the day, when we hit that zone, it's going to be, a clear understanding as to what's going to be happening, whether we deviate or we break through that specific region. CryptoCon, guys, gives us a long-term perspective. So I know everyone wants altcoin season to happen already, but giving you guys a long-term perspective from the previous years and how long this cycle has been going on, it's really crazy, and I want to talk about it. This cycle, almost all of Bitcoin's time has been spent going sideways, but I think that's about to change. We spent over a year and a half, guys, ranging, just sideways ranging, and then 5.76 months, or almost 6 months, pretty much expanding, and just 36 days making meaningful price action to the upside, 4 of which were recent. But I believe the bull market parabola hasn't happened yet and is coming very soon. This should include a mega expansion phase, probably lasting until the end of this year. Once we reach more new all-time highs, the genie is out of the bottle. And guys, this chart just points to the fact on the total range time, the expansion time, and the total expansion burst time that we're anticipating. This is super bullish, showing you that we have been seeing so much price action just going sideways that we have not seen in previous cycles. So when liquidity starts to pour back into altcoins and everything, and overall into Bitcoin as well, it is going to get stupid, but it's just a matter of time. And if you don't have the patience, you're going to miss out on crazy gains. If we look at my crypto portfolio right now, guys, for the 7-day, a lot of assets are up quite significantly, but in the 24-hour, a lot of assets are down, and I don't want you to get caught up in the 24-hour, even in the 48-hour on how your coins are performing. You need to have a long-term perspective. Even with these assets, a lot of them are down very significantly compared to the price action that we saw back in 2024 when everything was ripping up right at the end of the year. So this is where you got to be bullish and look into the right coins. I mainly invested around AI, gaming, meme coins, and a little bit of RWA. enticed in there. But overall, guys, swiping everything to the side, we need a little bit more information. We had the CPI data come out. We have this deal going through with Trump and China, supposedly, but it's more of a pause, so we don't have too much concrete information. There's an idea about rate cuts happening, but we're waiting to see exactly what the Fed is going to say and if we're going to be seeing that. Price action around Bitcoin and Ethereum is chopping sideways, and altcoins are just following the price action around Ethereum. Right now, guys, Bitcoin dominance and USDT are crashing down, pointing to the fact that altcoins are slowly getting the liquidity that they need. But only time will tell, guys. You need to lock in, keep updated with all the information, and make sure you do not capitulate your bags. But overall, if you're new to my channel, check out the rest of my content. I keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and exactly what you need to be aware of so that you can make those crazy gains. Guys, I try to make my videos really concise, give you exactly the information that you need to be aware of so that you understand what's affecting the markets, where liquidity is moving, and just exactly how you can anticipate the next week or so. Right now, we've been waiting for altcoin season on this YouTube channel for the past year and a half. So I'm not going to be stepping out, and I hope you don't step out as well. Start looking for good positions, keep up with the day-to-day, and cut out all the fluff. And on this channel, that's what I try to do. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're new to my channel, let me know exactly what you think of my perspective. Let me know what you guys think of my content. Let me know what you guys think of the altcoin market right now. Do you think altcoins are going to be ripping up? Do you think we're going to be deviating? Do you think we're going to be seeing rate cuts? What do you think is going to be happening? I'd love to hear everyone's perspective and everything that's going on. But I drop day-to-day content every day, so stay tuned, and hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. Peace.